what's up guys? IFBB Pro Logan Franklin here. I'm the newest member of the Dragon Pharma family, and today I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about myself, so stay tuned. So I'm 29 years old, born April 2nd, and pretty much lived in Texas my entire life, currently living in Spring, Texas. So I started lifting when I was 13, 14 years old. My dad had a home gym. It wasn't really big. It had a bench press, some dumbbells, lat pull down machine, and that's basically it. I didn't even work out every day, didn't eat correctly. I used to think that I had to work out every other day to allow my body enough time to rest in between workouts. Totally was going about it the wrong way. Didn't really have any real guidance on what I needed to do and how things were supposed to be done, and how to eat properly and train properly, how to develop a strong mind to muscle connection. So whenever I say I started working out when I was 13, 14 years old, it doesn't mean I was working out the way I am now or within the last 10 years of me training. So it's been a long process, a lot of learning, a lot of mistakes that have been made, a lot of speed bumps along the way. But yeah, that's how I got started. So when I got out of the military in 2014, my goal was not to be a bodybuilder. I didn't even think about competing. That wasn't my intentions with where I was at in life, where I was with my fitness journey. I mean, I was in shape, but I wasn't by any means a bodybuilder. I trained like a bodybuilder. I had size on me and all that good stuff, but I wanted to be, just a fitness model. I wanted to be the next Greg Plitt, that was my number one idol whenever I was getting into all this, was Greg Plitt.
Nice to meet you, man.
Out of the military, man.
Yeah.
5 years active duty Army, and ever since I started a fitness model, you've been my number one idol, dude.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thanks. How old are you?
23.
23. You can go very far, man. But you got a big future, man. 23. I didn't get started, man, until I got out of the military when I was like 28.
Yeah.
So you got 5 years head start. And you're probably better shape than I was then.
No way.
When I was 23, man.
I just talked to Greg Plitt, and it was pretty amazing. He pretty much said everything that I've been feeling. It's not lifting for the girls and everything else. It's lifting for a purpose, to better yourself and to inspire others and change people's lives. So that's what I want to do.
I just felt like we had a lot of similarities, a lot of things in common. Both military guys, both in shape, kind of had the similar looking physiques. Kind of the same attitude. I felt we had a lot of the same personality aspects. So that's why, I chose Greg Plitt as my original idol. He was the first guy that I really looked up to in this fitness journey. So you could see why that didn't lead me to wanting to compete, because Greg Plitt didn't compete, so I didn't feel like I needed to compete. But I went to the 2014 Mr. Olympia, and that was the very first Mr. Olympia I had ever been to. And I watched all the men's physique guys, stepping on stage. At the time, I think the top 5 was Jeremy Buendia, Matt Acton, Jason Poston, Sadiq Hadzovic, and Steve Cook. And I remember watching from the audience, just like all the other spectators, and going, damn, I think I can beat these guys. I think I can stand next to these guys, and I was in pretty good shape that weekend at the Mr. Olympia. I was there for photo shoots, and whenever all those guys got off stage, I went and found a couple of the guys and took pictures with them, and I looked at them, and I started to believe that I could be an IFBB pro. So that was in September 2014. Right whenever I got home from the Mr. Olympia was whenever I decided I was going to do my first show and see how far I could take it. I did my first show, I think the date was October 18th of 2014, so literally a month later I was entering my first bodybuilding competition as a men's physique competitor. won the show, and then I went to nationals, NPC nationals, what was it, November 21st. So literally 4 weeks after my first show, I went to the biggest national show at the NPC National Championships, and I won my class, and then I ended up winning the overall. So came out of nowhere whenever I entered the sport, and just won my first show. 1 month later, turned around, won the overall at the biggest national show, and that's where I got the bug. I was hooked. From there, I saw that I had the potential to do big things. At least I thought I did at the time, and that just, it sunk in, and it gave me this determination to see how far I could take this. And ever since then, it's history. I enlisted in the Army when I was 17 years old. I did the senior enlistment program. And then right after I graduated high school, I went to basic training in AIT, signed up for 5 years. I was in the 4th Infantry Division, and then I deployed to Afghanistan in 2011, and then I was there for a little over a year. Came back home, and then whenever I came back home, I had aspirations to become a Green Beret. I was really motivated as a soldier. I wanted to be the baddest man that I could possibly be. I wanted to be a lethal motherfucker, you know. And on paper, I did everything right, but my problem was that I didn't like to listen all the time, you know. Spoke out whenever I probably shouldn't have spoken out, and that's my personality. And that kind of got me in trouble a little bit along the way. I ended up not becoming a Green Beret, clearly, because if I would have, I would have stayed in and gotten a little bit of trouble, and my packet for selection was dropped. So I ended up finishing my time in the military in Korea. I did my last, I think it was 14 months of my enlistment was in Korea, and then that's whenever I got out and started to pursue my fitness journey. So my switch from men's physique to classic physique, I believe, was inevitable, and just not because I was ever really planning to get super big. You know, like I said, I had never planned to be a bodybuilder. I never planned to get this deep into the sport. But if you start, it kind of hits you like a bug, and it can take off. You know, if you get that determination, that mindset, and that belief in yourself of what you can achieve. But my switch from men's physique to classic was just because, you know, a lot of the fans were just constantly, you know, commenting things that were motivating me, things that was making me believe that I could make a transition. And then I started posing and taking pictures in certain shots, and to see how I looked in certain shots, and decided to challenge myself and put myself out there, and I took a huge risk, you know. So from the on season to the off season, or what I would like to call my progression season, which is what my coach calls it, AJ Sims, there's not much difference in the discipline aspect of things. You know, I'm still training almost every day, but also taking rest days whenever I need them, and doubling up on rest days if I want to, just to kind of, you know, get that little mental break and let the body really recover for another, you know, crazy week of off season or progression season workouts. My workout intensity, you know, I can't imagine it being that much different. I try to always keep it at the highest level that I can in terms of my pace and how I'm squeezing the muscle. You know, everything's always specified to working towards a goal and having a shape in mind that I'm working for. My nutrition from on season to off season, I would think is fairly close. I stay pretty lean year round because I continuously diet year round, and I've been doing this for the last 4 or 5 years. You know, I've been able to build my metabolism by doing this, so therefore the next time I start a competition prep, I'm able to eat a lot more food because I've already got my metabolism going. You know, a lot of people they tend to go into the off season and then they slack off and they eat a whole bunch of junk food and they slow their metabolism down. They build a whole lot of unnecessary body fat and they can't see, lines between the muscles and shape that they have, and they don't really know exactly what they need to work on. But for me, that's not how I do things. Like I said, I stay more lean in the off season, so therefore I can, look at myself and figure out what needs to come up more. And on top of that, whenever I'm leaner, I feel that I can contract the muscle better. I feel that it keeps my metabolism a little bit faster, and I just feel a whole lot healthier. I don't feel like I'm getting out of breath, if I'm trying to walk from somewhere, I don't know. So right now I'm prepping for the IFBB New York Pro. We are currently, I think, 9 weeks away from the day. Competition's September 5th. So that's gonna be the next time you see my face smiling on stage. So I'm pretty much a foodie. I do love to eat, although I do try to maintain a tight physique year round. But my favorite foods to eat, if it's gonna be clean, I like to go get sushi. Mexican food, I like Mexican food even though that's not very clean. Love pizza, everybody loves pizza, I guess. I'm one of the guys that puts pineapple on his pizza though. Pepperoni, ham, and pineapple, that's the pizza right there. Y'all gotta try that shit, so good. And just the normal shit, the burgers and fries, chicken sandwiches, I don't know, normal foods. I love all food. I'm not prejudiced towards any different types of food. So I'd like to think that I'm pretty connected with those that follow me on social media. At least I try to be. I try to, communicate with, everyone that has supported me and someone that has legitimate questions or just wants to chat it up with me in the DMs. If I got the free time, I take some of the time and give back and help people out and answer questions that they need and stuff. But I don't know. I guess honestly that's more of a fan question. How is my relationship with them? Because my perspective might be a little bit different than somebody else's. I would say that everybody can expect from my partnership with Dragon Pharma is literally just a lot of insane content. They've got some really good videographers, photographers, a really good marketing team. I'm excited to be flying to countries that I've never been before, Brazil, Abu Dhabi, places like that I'm sure that we're going to be going to, and I'm going to be able to meet a lot of fans that I would not have been able to meet without Dragon Pharma. So that's one thing that you can expect, and it's to see me at a expo near you. And of course, you can obviously expect that I'm going to be able to get some awesome content with the one and only Big Ramy. Going to be able to get on YouTube that you guys have been asking so much about. So you're going to be able to see what it's like when I'm putting myself through a rigorous prep, what it's like when I'm traveling to shows and all the behind the scenes content. You guys are going to be able to see all of that on YouTube on the Dragon Pharma page. Where does my motivation come from? I believe motivation is it's not something that you need to rely on. It's not something that you should rely on, as I should say it better. Just because motivation comes and goes, and it comes and goes off of how you feel. Really, it's just discipline. Discipline and passion is what I thrive off of. And the motivation does help. Motivation from the fans, motivation from my family, motivation of my own self-belief and what I believe that I can accomplish and who I can become. Dreams and ambitions, is motivating. Thinking about what life can be if I achieve a certain thing, that's motivation. So, just applying all of the all of the above and utilizing it towards your training and towards any day-to-day task that's going to help you achieve your dreams. Yes, I recently just became a father about 8 weeks ago this weekend. 8 weeks ago today, actually. Today's Friday. Yeah, 8 weeks ago today. My son's 8 weeks old today. Damn. It's flying by, as you can tell. So he's already 2 months old, and it's amazing. You know, it's amazing unless he's screaming. When he's screaming, it's a little rough. It can be hard at times, but you know, it's a undescribable feeling and of love, and whenever you look at life and you're just like, damn, you know, I've got my own family. You kind of think about whenever you were a kid and your family whenever you were a kid. So it's a new journey. It's a new chapter, and it's amazing. I mean, I can't even explain exactly how I feel about it. It's just amazing. You know, I've always thought about things that I would say to my past self, to change things or to do things differently. But I mean, I've thought about this so many times, as I'm sure, you know, each and every one of you watching this right now has. But you know, after giving a lot of things a lot of thought, you know, I come to realize that everything happens for a reason, and you have to go through, you know, what you go through in life to become who God intends for you to be. And with that being said, it's hard for me to want to say anything to my past self, because if I were to have changed anything that's major in my life, you know, it would change who I am as a person and who I am as a man, you know, just because life experiences makes, you know, it makes men, it makes women, it builds personality, you know, it makes who you are, and you just got to go through it. All right, so thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all learned something about me today that you didn't know. If you ever have any other questions, just message the Dragon Pharma team and ask away, and then we'll get you guys in the next interview. Peace.